It was a typical evening in an upscale eatery. The area was softly lighted by chandeliers, and the sound of glasses clinking filled the air. However, one girl entered among the affluent visitors, her eyes sorrowful and irritated. The boy at the front, running the restaurant like it was his kingdom, was the one she went up to. "My dress is that." "What are you doing? Have you got a new one?" With a quivering voice, she snapped. Confused, the youngster gazed at her. "Pardon me? I own this eatery. I own everything here. Do you not understand?" Her eyes were full of unshed tears as she shook her head. "Yes, everything is yours. However, you might lose everything in an instant." He sensed her words hanging in the air like a warning. Her voice had a tone that conveyed suffering. However, he was too engrossed in his own world to comprehend. As the evening wore on, rumors began to circulate. The girl was ill, very ill. The news that she had stage 4 cancer was like a kick to the face. She was running out of time and only wanted one final lovely memory. So she wasn't just upset about an outfit. He was sorry he hadn't realized sooner. Although he couldn't retract his words, he might attempt to make amends. He knocked on her home later that evening while holding a platter of food. "You skipped your supper." "I brought your food here," he remarked softly. "I'm not interested in it." "Go away," she said icily, her voice hardly audible above a whisper. I am unable to go." Trying to get through to her, he replied, "I think I should apologize." She glanced at him and added, "I just had one last wish," her voice trembling. "To don a lovely gown, to eat dinner at a classy establishment, to listen to the lovely music I've always enjoyed. And you spoiled everything." He felt as though her words were crushing him, yet he was at a loss for words. He mumbled, "I'm sorry," but it seemed empty and pointless. "Sorry won't change anything," she was saying. "Not even $1 million could fix what you broke." She wiped away a tear, and he stood there, powerless. Although he was aware that he couldn't undo her suffering, he could still do something. It was his last chance to put a smile on her face. He came back the following day, intent on making things right. His heart was in his throat as he stood in front of her. Trying to be strong for her, he added, "If you can't come to the restaurant, then I'll bring the restaurant to you." His effort reduced her anger, but she still raised an eyebrow. "All right. However, I have 2 requirements," she stated. "I need a new dress first." "Turn around." He followed her instructions without inquiry. "And the second?" She said, "I want to have dinner with a handsome guy." Grinning mischievously. With a quiet laugh, he said, "James?" She gave a head shake. "No, I meant you." So he did. He provided her with everything she desired, even if it was just for a brief while. The restaurant, the cuisine, the music. She smiled for the first time in days. However, it was not the joyful kind of smile. Like a passing dream that would soon come to an end, it was bittersweet. She looked up at him and said, "By the way, I couldn't even pay the bill at your restaurant." His eyes were sorrowful as he smiled gently. "And you're the same girl who made me realize how empty my life really was." Her laugh reverberated throughout the deserted room, but it wasn't the easy chuckle of someone who had plenty of free time. The idea that life was fleeting and that nothing in this world would really matter after it was finished tainted the laughter. She left him the following day, her words still ringing in his ears. "Refrain from falling for me. Now is the time to live your life." He made an attempt to leave, Despite his best efforts, he was unable to move on. The girl who had taught him the true meaning of life was too important for him to let go of. A few days later, he ended himself in the hospital. She could hardly keep her eyes open anymore due to her weakness. However, a slight smile came to her face when she spotted him. "I just want to be here with you for your last 3 days," he added, emotionally stifled. 3 days? Who decides that anyway? She muttered as her eyes welled with tears. He had heard of an experimental treatment in Paris from a doctor. In addition to being costly, it was unsafe. The lad didn't care if the girl's mother didn't want to pursue it. He wasn't going to betray the commitment he had given her. He approached her mother and begged her. "I can make her fantasy come true. I'll do anything. Just let me try, please." Torn between her love for her daughter and the truth of the situation, her mother gazed at him with tired eyes. There was a long pause before she nodded. "You can try, but it's her choice." With fresh hope in his heart, he went back to the girl's side. He would defend her. He would not abandon her without a fight. On that day, she gave a feeble smile, but her eyes were full of optimism. She inquired, "So today is the first day, right?" "We're going to the eatery. I have yet to sample the well-known dessert." With a tear streaming down his cheek, he returned her grin. "Yeah, we will go." The best element is yet to be tried. Now he had all he wanted. He was in love with a girl who was more resilient than any person he had ever encountered. He no longer required the authority, the restaurants, or the money. She was all he needed. He said, "I don't need restaurants anymore," as she smiled at him and put her weak hand in his. "You are the greatest thing that God sent me, an angel." With a serene smile, she closed her eyes. "I'm happy I got to know you. Some desires never come true. However, they never die in the heart.